Jackson.
So Dorian Yates was, like, London Real went over to Spain to do an interview with him, and they go to this smoking club. And I'm thinking, oh, cigar lounge. Nope, it's all weed. He's like, yeah, you don't want to be going to a bar because people are drinking and then, criminal things happen. Whereas when you're just smoking weed, there's no criminal shit happening. Everybody just wants to talk and relax and chill. So they've got all this different kinds of weed, and they have a menu, and there's like 3 weeds on the menu, and he's like, this one here, this one's going to kind of put you to sleep. But that's not what I'm about. I just want to use this other one, green crack, or I don't know what the fuck, white widow or some shit.
The white widow.
But he's talking about how he had used DMT. DMT, is that what?
That's what Rogan
always talks about. Yeah. So DMT, he's like, yeah, it's like drinking acetone. It really takes a lot to chug it down. And I had just met my wife, and I'm like, hey, I need you to help me because I'm going to take this stuff, and I'm probably going to get really sick and throw up and shit myself. So if you make it through this, you might be a candidate, So that's like he had just met his wife, and she fucking did this, or helped him do this. Right. And he's like, it's terrible. Like, you don't know how you're going to do it. And, it didn't really do anything for me, and this and that. And he's like, but looking back, like, it took 6 months to realize that it did. Like, did it really, or is it just some bullshit or whatever? He's like, I really like the ayahuasca. I got more from the ayahuasca. And, like, it's just crazy to listen to these fucking guys. So he's been on Rogan several times. He's been on London Real, like, 4 times now. It's cool to hear them talk. And his whole thing was, like, he was, like, the biggest dude in the world. He was Mr. Olympia 6 years in a fucking row. And, like, when he came on stage originally, like, nobody knew. He won Night of Champions New York, like his first pro show or whatever. Which it's pretty unheard of, So, and then he shows up and wins Olympia, and like nobody knows who this dude is. He doesn't give any interviews. Like nobody knows who this fucking dude is. And they're like, what are you gonna do? You gonna take a couple months off? What are you gonna do? He's like, no, I'm going to the gym tomorrow. Like I'm training. So the next year he comes and fucking wins Olympia the second year, and people are like, who the fuck is this guy? Like where is he even at? He's in a gym in Alabama. Wears a fucking hoodie all the time. Nobody really knows what this dude has until he fucking uncovers. He's like, even when I was fucking posing and shit, I did that on my own. Like, nobody fucking saw that. There was no video. There were no fucking coaches. There was no nutritionist. Like, you read what little was out there, and you kind of took what other dudes were doing and kind of put it together. And he's like, that was a different time. Now it's chemicals and everything exponentially is bigger. They're using a lot of other stuff and insulin. He was talking about he goes, I hate seeing dudes try to come back, at like 50 years old. Like you're never going to be as good as you were. And Rogan's like, who the fuck's trying to, because he was Mr. Olympia like 90 to 96 or 91 to 97 or something. He's like, who the fuck's trying to come back? He's like, well, how do I answer this? Like good or bad? He's like, Kevin Lavrone's trying to, is doing a comeback. I guess he was in Olympia this year or going to. It's a trip. It's just a small world because when we went to Alan's birthday party, I ate dinner next to Kevin Lavrone. Like he was sitting there and this dude's like, I didn't know who he was. Like he's at that table. So he's somebody in the bodybuilding world. But he's talking about, I just got back from Russia and my nutrition company. I'm like, oh, you got protein powder, bro? Like who? Can I get some? Where do I buy it at? He's kind of like one of those, how the fuck do you not know who I am, motherfucker? And I'm like, so I'm talking to him and he's telling me and I'm like, yeah, I don't know who you are. Like, still, So when I finally asked, I'm like, who the fuck is this dude? So I get home and it's like fucking 2 a.m. and I'm YouTube and Kevin Lavrone. I'm like, holy fuck, like this dude, like, he took like 2nd and 3rd place in like every fucking Mr. Olympia. It's just a trip. The people you come in, like the world is such a small place. The circles.
I think when you say he can't come, or coming back at 50, I think you're probably thinking in the sense of how they used to do it. But you think of guys like look at The Rock. He gets bigger and bigger every fucking year. Even
still tells you.
Yeah.
I'm not using any anabolics. I'm not using any growth hormone. I'm not using any chemicals.
And even Rogan will say, he says this all the time, that he's in the best shape of his life. So I don't know if that's true. I think guys can come back at 50.
Well, when you hear like Dorian Yates talk about it, he's like, you hear muscle memory and shit. You know, is there really muscle memory? Like he's like, I call it like old man muscle. And Dorian's like, I've been 280 pounds. I'm 200 now. He goes, but I could be 200. And Rogan's like, what would that take you? Like a couple years? If he's like, no, I could be 280 pounds in 90 days. He's like, what? Get the fuck out of here. And he's like, I've had it. Like, I can do it. Like, my body has already sustained it. And that what you hear all these dudes when they really start talking about the mind is that you have rewritten your DNA. Like, your DNA code has fucking been altered from being at that size, being at that peak performance level. The mind stuff, the fucking the neural pathways and stuff, like you have changed what your children are going to be from what you have fucking done.
Yeah, there's actually a really good study that was done during the Great Depression about can you alter or do experience alter genetic code. And the one thing that they found, and they've redone the study several times, is like if the mother is in and the mother is in a situation where she's malnourished, where there's not regular food coming in, that it will stunt the growth of the child, which is part of the genetic code. The more food you have, the bigger size you can attain. The less food you have, the smaller you need to be in order to sustain yourself. And so they're like, there are outside sources that can affect your genetic code.
And then you have like growth hormone. You know, when a kid's growth platelets are still open, there's a lot of, yeah, we should do this, no, we shouldn't do this kind of shit. But when you give them growth hormone or a SARM, a secretagogue that creates and becomes growth hormone, like you can see kids whose parents are this big, but this kid at, 14, 13, whatever age, when the growth plates are still open, will be that much taller.
Yeah. What are we?
We're podcast 82.
82.
Episode 82. Friday, April 12th, 5:15. So like you always hear it, like you used to listen to these dudes. Like I got invited a couple times to different places. The Dog Brothers used to, Fight Club. Mm-hmm. Like the actual Fight Club. They used to meet in the park and fucking beat each other up with sticks and shit. So I'm at this thing for a movie in Hollywood, and it's actually for Hurt Locker, for Ben's movie, and a bunch of us are there. I'm there gear wise, with Jeremy Renner, Tom Sizemore. There's a few other dudes there, Ray Fiennes, and they bring in these dudes like Chris Barrett's there talking about the 50 cal, talking about 50 cal use on the battlefield. But this dude's here, and I'm like, all right, man, he's gonna give us like the ninja death touch or something. Like he's got the poop touch. Like I'm just gonna be able to look at you cross-eyed, and you're gonna fucking shit your pants. But he doesn't. He starts talking like all philosophical and deep, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? This dude is fucking high. I don't know what he's on, but this dude has lost his shit. And like I just never had an interest in any of that shit. When they start talking about the philosophical and the neural pathways and the fucking, opening up your mind, and if you foresee it, you'll become it, and you have to imagine it before you can achieve it. And, I'm like, oh, crystal rubbing. I'll bet this motherfucker walks around barefoot everywhere. He's got furry toes and shit. I'll bet his bitch don't shave. But when you start listening to these dudes for one reason or another, and then you really start listening to them, and you listen, you find out, like, you'll hear them mention people that they are mentored by, and you start looking at these guys. Every one of them saying the same shit. They're saying it a little bit differently, and they have maybe a different, like, they believe it's God, or they believe it's fucking energy or vibrations or whatever. But they all fucking believe it. And they're all at the same events, they're all in the same club, and they're all using the same chemicals. It's fucking, it's like a small world, man. Like, it's that club. You're not in it. And you don't even know you want to be in it till you're in the next club, and then you find out there's another one, and the door, like you're listening to the door, and then somebody's like, you can't come in here, but you can kind of look through and just listen.
There's always another door. Yeah. Always somebody.
So 76 was yesterday's. There was a bunch more comments, so I killed that, and printed these out, and then we'll go off of this. What are you doing this weekend? Do you
I don't
have
know.
a goddamn tractor?
No, not yet. They're waiting on 2 implements.
Do you want to just drive the one in the back home? You should drive it home. Well, that'd be a hell of a YouTube video. Imagine the things that are going to happen driving that home. What are you with? 40 miles away?
Yeah. Does that have a? Does it have a placard on the back of it?
No.
I think all we have to do is put a placard on the back.
You don't even need that. You just need those fucking.
Yeah, that's the triangle placard.
You need the Amish triangle.
The Amish triangle. I think we could do it. It'd be a long fucking.
Oh hell yeah!
It'd be a long drive in 4th gear on that John Deere.
It'd be worth it just to video the people pissed off behind you.
I don't. Around here though, there's tractors on the road all the time. Like real tractors.
I appreciate them too, man, because they like pull over and let you go by.
Real tractors on the road.
I wave at them all the time. I'm like, someday I'm going to be in a ditch and he's going to remember I waved to him and he's going to come and pull me out.
I always find it funny when the sprayers, you know, the tall sprayers are on the road.
Yeah, you can drive. I want to drive under them.
Yeah, I always wonder, somebody has to have been like, I'm going to go under this bitch.
We could totally do it in my Porsche.
Oh yeah, easy in the
little
Porsche.
one.
Yeah, easy.
I don't know about the big one. It might not make it under. It might be too wide. Another great one. I'm just getting caught up on the last few videos. I have tomorrow off. I'm beat, but I'm going to watch the next one. I know it'll be worth it. Hillbilly, right on. About the abortion doctor, there is always a choice. Just because it's not the easy choice doesn't mean it's not there. People pick and choose what they do in their life, and in very rare situations, people don't have a choice.
Well, I get what you're saying there about that choice. Yes, you have a choice.
But that's a career-ending choice.
Yeah, but that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to create the law in a way that would end your career. And when you say choice, you know, I have a choice on whether or not I should finish this Diet Pepsi. Not really. I'm going to drink it. But when you're talking about once I put your means of supporting your family, if you're a reasonable, rational person, then maybe you really don't have a choice. There's really not a choice there. I mean, yes, there's a choice. You could always say no, but then when you fucking lose your practice and you can no longer feed your family, what now transpires for you to fucking make a living? I get it. People are one side or the other on these issues.
Maybe that's
I'm just saying that the government should stay out of our business. That's my
I agree with you but maybe that's the trauma that dude needs for fucking greatness. Nobody wants to watch. You've never seen a movie. We've never talked about a man. There's never been a story where we're talking about somebody that has achieved greatness or perceived greatness or great wealth or whatever, right? Until he came out of nowhere and had fucking turmoil and fucking problems and fucking had everything taken away and all his fucking life burnt to the ground. There's never a movie where the hero had nothing happen, right?
I get it.
I say this on the heels of watching the dudes on the intermittent fasting, right? They're like 16-hour window. No, nothing but water. Caffeine, enzymes in your liver takes you out of your fasting window. But in your fasting window, they're saying it puts years and years and years worth of life on the back end of your life. We were talking about this yesterday.
Yeah.
That dude, as well as like most of the other dudes, a lot of the alternative medical guys, Joe Rogan was like, "What do you do?" He's like, "Well, I'm a surgeon. I was trained as a surgeon. I performed thousands of surgeries. I was a cancer surgeon." And now this dude's like, "We're not doing any more surgeries. We're not doing this shit. Instead of fucking just trying to prolong something that's a self-induced problem for the majority of it, we're gonna go the other route and just fucking prevent it and try to extend life." And he's a life extension doctor, and he's really one of the world premier life extension doctors. Has a practice in New York as well as on the West Coast. What caused that? I don't know, but that's what makes me think when I'm thinking one specific doctor in mind. I don't know who he is. I'm just thinking one dude. I can't kill babies. I'm not gonna kill babies. Fuck you guys. I quit. Pivots. Fucking 5 degrees. And now he's becomes world famous and fucking, who knows? Who knows? It's all fiction until it happens, right?
It's all fiction until it happens.
There is a lot of value in these podcasts. Seems there is only a handful interacting, but in any of them, if any of them are like me, I have every podcast downloaded and will listen again and again. John Hamilton, thank you, man.
John.
Thanks for the comment. Ed Woe, fuck, hell yes, I want the podcast to continue. Ed, come on, man.
Come on, man.
You give me nothing to work with there.
You got to give me something more than a fuck yes. Fuck yes. Hashtag.
And all you motherfuckers on here, I make a post almost every morning between 4:30 and 5:30. And sometimes there's only like 2 or 3 comments. You motherfuckers on here, go comment on that shit too. because it's about you, it's for you. Really, it's accountability to myself, but hopefully it can help somebody. Raphael, hi all. Come on, something as simple as not having power or internet won't make me miss the grind to 100. Laugh out loud. I am just putting all the prepper shit to work. Okay, a few questions. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but when I say like something catastrophic happens, the tax man's no longer coming to the door, we're living a different lifestyle. I think a lot of that is because people want to live that lifestyle. Like the majority of people don't want to get up and go to work. Well, if the tax man ain't coming to take your house and they're not coming to shut your gas off, like your gas is already turned off, your power's already off, what are they going to take away from you? Your car? Nobody's coming to get that shit. There's no fuel to run that fucking thing anyways, right? Now we can farm. We can live off the land. We can live Little House on the Prairie, or we can form a gang and go roving hordes. I mean, whatever it is you're predetermined to, you can go do that because there's nobody, like, what really is the fear that makes people go to work? You're going to be kicked out of the house you don't own. They're going to take the car you don't own. They're going to turn your water off. You know, whatever it is. When all that shit disappears, everybody's fucking reset to zero. Everybody's on a level playing field. Within 30 days, there's going to be some people ahead. At 60 days, there's going to be a bunch of dead people. At a year, those dudes that started back out minimally, they're going to be back to the millionaires. Like, it's going to happen.
We should go over here to the water company.
Mm-hmm. We totally can. We have a guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because we have a guy. We should go over here, and since it's right there, we should go over to the water company and just be like, hey, let's pretend all you guys disappeared.
What would happen?
How would you keep this running? How do you keep, at a minimum, how do you keep this running? Because imagine how much of a hero you would be if you could get that thing turned back on. You know, if you're the guy that goes over there and like, hey, I can get water to your house.
There's a book called The Witch of Hebron. Same author wrote a couple other books. The Witch of Hebron was like the second or the third in the series. It's kind of survival fiction. And that was the thing. So the water was off to this town. And really, later on in the book, all they did is they went to the water plant and they realized that some goats had died and blocked the waterway. And by removing them, they got the water back. But now you have the issue. Yes, you're a billion years ahead if you have water coming out of the pipes, even if it's contaminated, because you can run it through charcoal filters, sand filters, fucking apply heat, apply chemical, whatever it is. If you had some calcium chloride, it's basically powdered pool shock, right? When it literally, if you have the one without the dyes in it and shit and you have the right stuff, it comes in these kind of hard rubbery plastic pliable tubes. The ideal way to store it is to cut it open or just put the tube all together inside an Nalgene container. If you put it inside of ammo cans, it'll actually just corrode and fucking rust them. Glass is good, but you know, the metal is your problem. But you can take these 1 pound things of pool shock, right? And you can make enough fucking chlorine to shock. Chlorine, bleach are the same thing. And if you don't know, like, oh, I'll just store bottles of Clorox. Well, you can do that, but they have a half-life. They actually dissipate. The gas comes through the container. So a year from now, it's not even half as strong as what it was. So don't have that be your plan. Get some of the raw chemical. And research how to store it, because it will. You'll come in and your shit will have eaten a hole through whatever it was in and fucking melted through here, and you'll have a fucking chlorine gas in your fucking room. So there is a little danger to it. Just know how to handle it and how to deal with it. But that 1 pound of that shit, you used to be able to buy it at Walmart. They don't have it anymore at Walmart. Theirs all have, you know, blue dye and all kinds of other shit in there. But you can make enough chlorine to treat 1 million gallons of water almost off of that 1 pound of that shit. So more is always better. So you want to have 100 pounds of it, you know. And I tell you from experience that it will eat out of its own package.
Yeah.
And it will fucking eat a hole through your metal shelf, and it will corrode everything within 20 feet of it, because I had that happen. So keep it away from water and humidity. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, you would be the hero. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Since the military stuff is popular, you guys made a challenge coin yet? We've done 3 challenge coins.
3, yes.
Like someone that got all the gears that you guys sell, or old customers, or special events. And you guys happen to have like a special challenge coin from the military, or being a civilian in case you get to play with the drinking game. I know even the president got one, not sure what rank or tiers that coins go. Yes, we've done 3 challenge coins. We actually have artwork for a 4th. We just haven't had it struck yet. We numbered them 1 through 300 or 250.
250, I think.
The first, we typically retain like the first
10,
15. In-house, those numbers stay in-house. And then guys that purchased like 1 through 100 or whatever, when we release another coin, only the guys with that number of coin are allowed to buy the next coin, and we do that for a couple weeks, and then we put them out. We've seen guys sell or try to sell, because you're not allowed to sell the coins. If you want to get rid of the coins have to come back to us for redistribution. We always have a list of people waiting for them.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, we've done coins. I wonder if hippie bitches braid their twat mops. Imagine the smell of the creek minnow. Do you know what the creek minnow is?
I do not know what the
I
creek
like this. I'm going to use it on a daily basis from now on.
Creek minnow. What's creek
Slang
minnow?
for clit.
Creek minnow. Huh.
Like little man in the canoe.
Like little man in the canoe. Creek minnow.
Do you like to push the little man in the canoe this way, or do you like to get him up and down?
Up and down. I'm an up and down type of guy.
Do you rub it this way, or do you clockwise, up and down, side to side?
I think I just change it up. I think I change it up. I just do a little bit of everything.
I like to kind of. I've never been able to do that. Have you ever been able to?
No, I've never known one of those girls.
Not that, but like a real speed bag.
Oh, no.
Speed bag?
Hell no.
I want to get one. It just looks like this. It looks cool when dudes can do that. I don't even want to use it. I just want to have like when guests are over, I just want to be like, and then just walk away, and then video them trying to do it, because you know you can't do it.
Yeah, you gotta train.
John, all the reptiles you've talked about, I've never heard you talk about a Chinese water dragon. My buddy had one in a giant homemade corner terrarium. It ate the fish in the bottom, birds in the trees, and mice. I almost got one until showed me his bite scar. So I had a basilisk, and I had a Chinese water dragon. They're kind of like iguanas. Every kid wants one until you have one, and then they fucking scratch, they bite, they whip the fuck out of you with their tail. I never had one. Mine just ate bugs. I never knew they would eat fish, and definitely not birds. So I have had one. It's not my thing. I like monitor lizards. I don't currently have any monitor lizards. I've got a bunch of bearded dragons. And every year about this time when it heats up, I'm like, we should build a big outdoor enclosure, and I can take all these fucking things and just put them in the outdoor enclosure.
That'd be kind of cool. That'd be really cool.
But no, we haven't done it. That's how San Diego Zoo has a big, huge pit, right? It has a wall about this big, and it steps down about 3 feet. So in the ground where they're actually at, it's probably 5-6 feet depth, and they've painted it with something kind of slick.
Right, so they can't
climb out, and they have fucking probably 100 of them in there. After following you guys on social media for a number of years, I made my first SOE purchase today. Thank you, man. What took you so long? Like what? Not what took you so long, but what made it click now? Why now? Thank you for the purchase. I ordered myself a Cobra duty belt, and will be back for a 2-point sling and more in the coming months. Thanks for being a great example of American Dream personified. John, you've mentioned that you're a hip-hop fan in the past. I'm from the East Coast and wondering what artists influenced your musical taste growing up in California. 50 Cent, NWA, obviously as a kid, NWA, everything was NWA. EPMD, never really was into EPMD or any of that shit. Flavor Flav, Kool Moe Dee, all that stuff. But really, when it really clicked and started, I'm like, yeah, I like what they're saying. It was fucking NWA, Ice Cube, Dre, all those guys. Then Snoop Dogg came on the scene, and then Eminem and 50 Cent. But really, 50 Cent. Would that say that that's basically what you've based your whole entire life off of?
You're 50 Cent. Yeah, 50 Cent. 50 Cent can't have none of this.
50 Cent. That's why Jeff went in the Marine Corps, because 50 Cent.
Yeah, because
50 Cent, he wasn't even out there.
50 Cent said he was going to do the rap game. I'm like, all right, I'm going to join the Marine Corps then,
He's
bro.
like,
You
get shot up, get in this rap game, bro.
You handle that. You handle your business.
Terry Crews. I like Terry Crews when he raps.
Yeah, of course, Terry Crews. Mine was
Shaquille O'Neal, best rapper in the world.
Mine was the Sugar Hill Gang. That's the only.
Did you really like Sugar Hill Gang?
That's the only rap guys I listen to.
So funny. We were actually offered the Sugar Hill Gang for one of our parties.
Really?
No bullshit.
Like, those guys are still around.
Yeah, and we were also offered 2 Live Crew.
2 Live? No, bullshit.
I swear to God, we were offered 2 Live Crew.
Come
2
on.
Live Crew. And then you remember the day Sebastian came in? He goes, "Hey guys, have you heard of the 2 Live Crew?"
The 2 Live Crew.
The 2 Live Crew.
2 Live Crew.
What are your opinions on the announcement by the U.S. Navy that it will drop there shouldn't have ever been criminal charges. Drop criminal charges and issue censors in relation to the deadly 2017 collision between the USS Fitzgerald guided missile cruiser and a Philippine-flagged container ship off the east coast of Japan that killed 7 sailors aboard the Fitzgerald. Who were they levying charges on?
Probably the captain of the ship.
Our ship?
Yeah.
Yeah, our ship, we shouldn't have been in trouble.
No, yeah, I don't know what the...
An internal investigation reported that this was an accident waiting to happen and that the sailors aboard were suffering from low morale and sleep deprivation. The Navy tried to keep the investigation findings secret from the public for fear of the potential lawsuit. Did any similar incidents occur during Skully's service?
I kind of don't know what you mean in the sense of, did anything similar occur? I mean, I had some crazy people get killed in some pretty avoidable...
Your own people?
Yeah, pretty avoidable situations, but...
By bad guys?
No, it's just friendly fire. But that's kind of different in the sense that the captain is ultimately responsible for everything that goes on board a Navy vessel. So the captain should ultimately be responsible for everything, to include all that. Which at the very least, when you're talking about... I mean, I'm sure that he is no longer in the Navy. But potential lawsuits, you can't... Me, as a United States Marine, cannot sue the Marine Corps because the fucking 81 millimeter mortar that was supposed to blow up down there actually blew up in front of me. I can't... There's nobody I can sue. There's no lawsuits. So, they're not... Here's the thing. When the military does something like that, they're really covering their ass in the sense of they don't want that to get around to other ships. They don't want to have to create some sort of morale problem throughout the entire U.S. Navy because, contrary to what people think, being in the Navy fucking sucks. That's got to be the worst fucking service to possibly serve in. Because at least in the Marine Corps, we get to do shit. All the Navy does is fucking paint ships and bust rust. Oh my God, that's got to be the worst. That's just got to be the fucking worst. We would roll into the Philippines, and every one of us would get off the ship and go fucking party in the Philippines. What the Navy would have to go half. They would go half duty because half those motherfuckers would have to be on the side of the ship going like this.
Is that really what they do?
100%.
The SEALs too.
Yeah, SEALs do their fair share of pain.
When they're not killing people, they got.
Yeah, that's the. I think that is the. Here's the thing about the SEALs.
How about polishing?
I think that is the only reason why Navy SEAls the only reason why Navy SEAls like to kill people because when they're not killing people, they have to paint boats.
Do you think maybe they've gone partially insane from the Brasso?
It could be the Brasso too, because there's going to be some Brasso issues going on.
I want some sound-powered phones for the building.
Oh, we could do that. That's probably really easy.
Nice brass ones. I hate the smell of brass and copper.
But and fucking brass, man, you got to really keep that thing.
I see so much cool shit, like little statues and shit, right? But they're brass. Like, why couldn't they have been made of gold or even lead? Like lead would be fine. I'd be fine with lead too.
Yeah.
But brass, it has that smell. Like you can't ever touch it, and you just want to touch shiny shit, right? And then you're like, God damn it, I got brass on my hand. Fucking 3 days later, you're like, I got brass in my hand.
Yeah, I don't know the exact details with the Fitzgerald. I do have a really good friend who is a lieutenant commander that is in the Navy and was out there at that time. And
what do you hear?
Water.
Is the building being pumped full of gas?
It could be. Kind of sounds like maybe Chef's got the water on.
Or we have
toilet flush.
Somebody just busted.
Maybe the toilet's running next door. So I mean,
vacuum.
the reality is you can't fucking, you're not, there's no lawsuit that's going to go up against the fucking U.S. Navy and their findings. But I guarantee you that commander, his XO...
Who's going to enforce that shit?
Yeah, probably the fucking Master Chief. They're all fucking... They're doing something different. Let's just put it that way.
Try to sue Japan right now for fucking killing the fish. Who's going to enforce... What... Okay, so you won in court. Who the fuck's gonna make the United States pay fucking anything?
The lawsuit's not gonna, there's no lawsuit that can go to court. Even like the Navy, or I mean, even like the Filipino, is it Filipino flag ship? Whatever ship they hit, they're not gonna go to court. They're not gonna,
we're gonna fucking reimburse their families.
Yeah, we're just gonna be like, here's a couple $1 million, shut up, that's all you guys are worth. It's the same thing when I can't remember which submarine it was. But it was an attack submarine, and it was off the coast of Japan, and they were just fucking doing their thing, doing attack submarine bullshit, and this Japanese fishing vessel is going by with its nets out, and it catches a fucking attack submarine. Well,
shit.
The attack submarine...
Did we drown it?
Yeah, we pulled that motherfucker right to the bottom.
Could they not fucking have cut
it happened so fast. Like, the minute that, once we...
Could the guys jump
bubble
off? Oh, there's no safety warning went out.
I want to say the only reason why we know about it is because I want to say 2 crew members survived, but everybody else that was on the... Just because it just fucking sucks you right down, man.
Moby Dick did it.
Yeah, Moby Dick did it. Well, then the USS fucking Pugelfish comes into port, and they're like, what the fuck is that?
What are all these dead fish in this net right here?
What the fuck is strapped to the back of our boat? So...
Wow. These podcasts make my day at work go so much faster. Keep them up. The random business advice, motivational quippets, and current events are awesome. T. Schulte, man. Thanks for listening, man. Your boy, Daniel Marshall.
Damn.
Great to hear about Chef. I suspect that he was a good chef prior to getting to SOE. Chef will tell you that he does it the way I tell him to do it. I love it when he says that.
He does it just
Chef,
the way John.
Chef is a fucking awesome chef. Chef was an awesome chef.
Except when he's doing shenanigans. When he's doing shenanigans,
they're pretty good.
He'll just leave something out, or he'll change something a little bit, and then John will be like, usually he's not far into it before he'll be like, is this a different seasoning? It's just funny shit.
Like this, I have to tell you that this is not nearly as good as your usual. This is not even at the. This isn't even in the game. Like not the top of your game. Like this isn't even on the same field. You're playing a different sport right now. Fucking don't ever do this again. However, once he got to SOE Collective, he was able to up his game. He didn't up his game here. Chef did not up his game. A good employee working for a good employer. I don't really see him.
A good employee.
I don't see him as an employee. Like he's just fucking one of us. His woman, Gabby, on the other hand, she listens to these. She listens to every word. She takes them home. Josh wakes up in the middle of the night and hears my voice because she falls asleep listening to our voices.
Yep.
Another note. As of 11th of April 2019, Brexit has not happened. The Ming Mong March Chodes at Westminster have got their way. But, as you can see for yourself, the hypocrisy in the UK is indoctrinated into us at an early age. Whether it's lumps of sugar, palmed off as cake, or mints that some polar bear has nicked off a fox. I don't even know what that means.
Probably talking about these candies that he sent. That
we've been lied to all our lives, but
really
us Brits candy. Wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what's going to happen with fucking Brexit. You guys are probably going to... Well, if France keeps burning, it's fucking... If the yellow vests have their way, they're going to fucking flood the tunnel and you won't need to worry about Brexit anymore.
Scully, your secret dream came true. Lenny McGill is opening a Glock store in Nashville.
Yeah, he got kicked out of California because California sucks ass. So they're going to open a Glock store here. It's going to be it's supposed to be the biggest Glock store in the United States.
So it's a gun store.
So it'll be, you'll walk in there and there'll be fucking 100 of the same fucking gun, and everybody.
Is it all Glocks?
Yeah, it's like the Glock store.
And there's nothing
I don't know. I have never been to the Glock store that's in because he's moving out of California.
I wonder how he looks now. Like, so as a kid growing up, like Lenny McGill was always a big dude,
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure he
I mean,
did
they
some
do.
bodybuilding and shit.
I think that, you know,
and
it's
he did
like
all those videos.
race guns and all that bullshit, but...
Good for him. He's going to be like, why the fuck did I wait 30 years to leave California?
Yeah, he definitely will.
But he's moving to Nashville. Like, we got 10 fucking giant-ass gun shops in Nashville already. I mean, 511 opened a store.
But we don't have a Glock store.
Barrett. No, we don't have a Glock store, but... Fuck, I mean, oh, good. More power to him, man. I ain't hating on him. Great podcast. I made one comment like 20 podcasts ago asking if y'all prefer DeWalt or Makita, and is still rolling. In all honesty, Milwaukee is where it's at. And Milwaukee's red. And they've got a great fucking closed group on Facebook. But, gotta run. The best you can get your hands on where you live. Make 3 orders recently. John, looking forward to some new Typhon Toxic gear.
Typhon Toxic.
You ordered some Typhon Toxic, or you want some? Send an email. Let us know what you want.
Yeah.
In response to automation, pizzas are already being delivered in an autonomous car in Nevada and California. YouTube it. You two already brought up Tesla and Amazon autonomy, so I won't. Well, while we're talking about that, though, you guys need to look at Whole Foods, and Whole Foods is owned by Amazon now. You need to look at Amazon has stores. I want to say they are in Oregon, Washington. I want to say there's over a dozen of them at this point, still kind of experimental. But as a consumer walking in the store, it's a big store like Whole Foods. You walk in, you do not fucking deal with a employee. Nowhere in the store you deal with an employee. There are a few in there, but even the stocking at this point, I believe, is all done not by humans. The food comes in the door, everything. The stocking's done, automated. You come in, you put your shit in a cart, it rings it up. I believe you have an app or something. You push accept, checks out. You're not even checked out at the door by a person. Like, everything is fucking automated. And they're adding to these. They say it's a success, and they're about to fucking put these things out. Not an universal Amazon anonymity. You two already brought up Tesla, so I won't. Universal basic income. We will live to see it. Not all. The problem with that is, okay, so they take all these people that have lost their jobs and give them $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month or whatever. They're talking about giving it to everybody. But of course, they will give it to people at $1,000 a month. Everything that those people spend that $1,000 a month on is about to go up in price. Their housing is going to go up in price because that is a lower level of person who won't work in addition to his universal basic income. So do you want him living in your fucking apartment? No, you want a dude that you can fucking charge more money for. So they're going to push those people out. Those are going to be your reservations. Those are going to be your people that are in Alaska not working, just living off universal basic income. And then, of course, if they give it to, Jeff and I, that's an extra $1,000 that we can just fucking go do whatever with. But as soon as we do something that they don't like or we don't conform somehow, well, you guys don't need this. You can't have that. You can't have that shit. So it's the new welfare. But are they going to stop welfare when they do it? No, of course they're not.
The problem with all of it is you have to find purpose in life. If you don't have purpose in life, then you're just going to spiral down the toilet. You mentioned the autonomous cars in Nevada and California. I don't know about California, but they've already had enough incidents. They've already had enough incidents in Nevada that they're actually putting people in the cars that are supposed to be driving autonomous because they're attacking those cars and destroying those cars in Nevada. You're going to see more and more of this. Yeah, right now you have these. Right now you have this autonomous stuff that's working in these niche markets in not test markets, right? So this pizza's probably going to the college campus. Like, you can get a drone Subway sandwich on some college campus. These are really niche markets. Once you open it up to the real world, there's going to be some problems. The first and the biggest one is going to be theft. I mean, the reality is, if there's a fucking truck that's driving into town every day at noon because the computer says it has to be at noon, and every day it's on time, it's only going to be a matter of time before... Well, hey, man, weren't we supposed to get a truck? Where's that fucking truck at?
Have you seen... what was the movie with Matt Damon where he's working at the uranium plant or whatever?
Oh, where Elysium.
Where
he gets caught in there? Where he gets caught in the machine? That's Elysium. Yeah.
So Just like the boss dude driving around in his Bentley spaceship. Yep. He's got them Bentley fucking robot guards.
Yep.
That's what's going to happen. Those dudes are going to deploy and start killing
the military's already looking at, they got a goddamn, it doesn't make any sense. They created a battlefield casualty recovery system that can survive off of eating organic material.
Really? So a robot that lives and fuels itself off eating meat.
Yeah, a robot that will go out on the battlefield and recover wounded personnel, but runs off of meat. Does that not make sense?
Well, you know what the next step is.
Yeah.
So we don't have to recover the dead. It just eats the dead.
I just saw a thing. I just heard a thing the other day. They were talking about AI, and they were talking about how
it's going to
we have
biologic.
We have no clue. We have no clue. We are so dumb and so ignorant about where this is going. In the sense of, he's like, just imagine we make an artificial intelligence, and its only construct is, we say to this machine, we need you to make the best efficient paperclip. We tell this machine that we need you to make the best efficient paperclip. And because it's an AI, it's going to make paperclips out of everything. Eventually, it's going to get to a point where it realizes, wait a minute, you are also made out of the same material that a paperclip. Like, and just the whole world will be covered in paperclips.
Or it's going to be like, only humans use paperclips. We don't need paperclips.
Yeah, we don't need paperclips.
When massive amounts of people are out of work, it will be like zombie hordes. Edit. It will be done over time, much like the frog in the pot. Heat gradually, and you don't really notice by the time you're boiling. Good day, sir. That's actually a myth. The frog in the pot thing. I think Mythbusters said that is not the case. I agree with everything else you said. And as far as zombie hordes, we have some giant ass gates that are being built right now.
To keep the zombie hordes out.
Big fucking gates. 16 feet tall, 20 foot long gates, right? Big gates. When the gates are closed, you can't see inside the compound. Fucking big ass spikes all over them and shit. And watchtowers. 100-foot watchtowers. So we'll see the zombie hordes. Jeff will be able to snipe them off.
Yeah, oh man, my God.
And we're going to have a zip line between so he can go to the other fucking watchtower. I could never have been on what's the zombie TV show? The Walking Dead. I could never, because they always want to make it out like, why didn't we just stay here where everything
is great? They always want to make it out like, oh my God, the zombie apocalypse is the worst thing on the planet. God, it would be like the greatest day ever to just...
Yeah, how did you guys not kill Negan 20 times?
Oh my God, it would be just on.
I'll bet he's even coming back on another fucking season.
Probably.
There is a CBD company out there that has a water soluble CBD. He said CDB oil. Zillus is the company, and they claim up to 94 absorption rate. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Joe says 1-to-1, 1 CBD to 1 THC. He says that's the thing.
That's the magic.
That's the magic. Now, the thing about Joe Rogan is he gets a lot of people on his podcast that have a lot of niche knowledge, like a lot of people that are doing some really niche and
very advanced shit,
very advanced research, and ideas. And
so far advanced that there's no fucking research as to long-term effects on some of this.
And they're working through a lot of these problems. So when Joe says 1-to-1, that's probably the thing. It's probably the thing. It's probably real close to the thing. I mean, it's going to be different for everybody, but Joe
has a sensory deprivation chamber.
Yes, he does. He loves it.
I have a feeling that it's not like a little tiny hyperbaric chamber.
No, it's not.
I have a feeling it's like the real...
It's pretty big because
Have you seen House on Haunted Hill? When they would throw those people in the sensory deprivation chamber and all the ghosts would come out and shit?
Oh, no, I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
It has to be big, though, because I think he was telling...
That's one of the keys to open the mind and being able to fucking next level kind of shit.
He was saying that somebody was on there and was like, I'm scared of small spaces, I can't do it. He goes, oh, no, this is big. Mine's huge. Yeah. It's not a little dinky one.
You realize that all these things that everybody's talking about and all this cutting edge shit that everybody's trying to achieve, they were calling all that spiritualism.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking back in the 30s and 40s. It's the same shit fucking everybody's running around the world with the Nazis looking for. It's really the same shit. Skully, people mention the Federalist Papers because they are a great document that gives insight to what the country was originally intended to be. I mention the Anti-Federalist Papers.
Oh.
These essays are also important because they give insight to the concerns of the citizens as to why they did not want this Constitution, and more specifically, the federal government. If you read the Anti-Federalist Papers, the concerns they had then are actually happening now. As you say, our history is being rewritten, and the reality is people don't really know what liberty and their rights are or mean. I do agree with you that they mean nothing when it pertains to right now, because even our representatives have no clue what these essays and the letters and journals of our founders are, or that they even exist. I mention them because when I read them, it opens my eyes to a lot of things. John, I always respect you and your opinions. I'm not the guy that says dive into the shit pool unless I'm already neck deep in it. A revolution can't be started by one man in the sense of locking, loading, and pressing forward. That's true, but one man can tell two, and two can tell four, and four can tell 16. He didn't say that, I said that.
Well, he does say it.
Oh, he did?
Right.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Right here.
I'm not the guy that says dive into the shit pool, man, in the sense of locking, loading, forward. It takes communication and numbers. The Patriot Act makes this impossible, almost because it doesn't take much to be labeled a terrorist and see the inside of whatever federal facility they lose you in. My wife, Liberty Chick, there it is, Liberty Chick's his wife, and I do email the president.
She just got her purple bag.
And our representatives. We even take it a step further and force them to meet with us. In the past month, we have met with the governor's office and also 2 congressmen from Ohio. Are you in Ohio? We've got some good friends in Ohio. One from the Republican and one from the Democratic Party. We expressed our concerns and tried to make them see the country from our perspective. We don't align with either the right or the left. We just want a small government and to be left alone. That means you're an anarchist, whether you know it or not. I won't be the guy on the 11 p.m. news again. Yes, I have had the goon squad stack and kick my door in for something they could have simply knocked and said, put these cuffs on.
They never knock anymore.
And I would have done it. My wife, watching my son, who was 9 at the time, being forced to the floor with a gun in my face, made me realize also what is going on. Your story is actually very similar to my story. This all happened over golf balls. What the fuck? I shit you not, fucking golf balls. We are going to be passing through next week, possibly, and if so, I'll tell you the story. I just want to live without interference every step I take along with the way. Again, I respect your all's opinion, but through comments, it's hard to express in detail everything I want to say on any subject. Thanks for the podcast and great fucking gear. Let me stop right there, man. There is no fucking ill will of us towards you. There's definitely no tone or inflection in text. 100%, man. Fucking stop by. If you get here early enough and we got time, fucking we'll bring you on. You can tell your story on the podcast.
We're just commenting to comment to get more comments.
And a lot of time it's not even towards you.
Anybody.
It's for the next 5,000 people that are going to listen to it.
I mean, I totally agree with everything you said.
The cards I get with my orders, I leave in places where people will have a need for your product. We religiously order all of our Amazon purchases through your link and share the videos to help spread SOE products. Keep up the podcast. Finally figured out how to listen through the SOE website, but it won't let me comment. What are your thoughts on reparations for the descendants of slavery? I think that they're here and fucking they don't want to go back where they were. I don't think there should be any reparations. The time is gone. There's not a fucking slave left alive. So anybody who's here, this descendants from that, We know plenty of black folks that are doing well, and I know a lot of black dudes that are fucking surpassed where I'm at. And I think that anybody there will tell you that there's no need for reparations. That's some bullshit. Every white motherfucker out there who's a piece of shit, just like every black person who is a piece of shit and won't work, of course they want reparations. They just, the blacks have an excuse to have a little more fucking welfare, and that's what that shit's about.
Reparations about them bringing up reparations. They're pandering to their base. So the Democratic Party is pandering to their base. And how do they pander to their base? They always pander to their base with free money. Here's the problem. When you say reparations, black people get all excited because they're like, oh, we're going to get a check. The reality is, who's going to get a check? Reparations for slavery. President Obama wouldn't get a check because President Obama was not in the country when that happened. Most of the people who think they're going to get a check are actually ain't going to get no check. Even if tomorrow they came out and said, hey, everybody who was directly affected by slavery, we're writing you a check.
What, is she 97 years old?
That fucking line is going to be really fucking small. I mean, they're just pandering to their base. That's all they're doing. Pandering to their base.
What are your thoughts on reparations for the descendants of slavery? Weren't European white slaves long before blacks? And if so, theoretically, the wealth gained from that made it possible for our founders to come here and form this country. Fuck it, if they start passing out checks, I'm identifying as a black slave descendant. Just fucking kidding. I don't want shit for free, and especially not from the government. See y'all soon. Right on.
Yeah, that's not. I don't see how this will go anywhere outside of Cory Booker. Fucking, they're showmen. All they want to do is fucking show. Oh, look at us. They're not. There's nobody really considering passing out checks. They're just trying to pander to their base. That's all. And if the sad part is the amount of people out there that hear them say that and then believe that somehow that's going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's all about getting more votes.
It's not going to happen.
Or showing up to vote or whatever the fuck.
And if it does, what'll end up happening is they'll be like, okay, we're going to give $10 million. We've got $10 million to pass that class action lawsuit.
You all get 3 cents.
The lawyers are going to get $5 million of it, and you guys can split this $5 million between the $5 million of you. Here's your dollar check.
Hey, John and Skully, I think I already told this story, but maybe not. Your talk about autonomous robots reminded me. I guess 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, my wife was in Giant Food Store, and she turned the corner, checking on her list on her phone, and just about went face to face with a robot that was scanning shelves. You actually told us when you were standing here in the building here, Max. Freaked her out because she had never seen it there before, and I think the creepiest part was the damn smile and grin they painted on the sort of face. The particular Giant Food Store is not a big one. It's actually one of the smaller ones in the area, so my guess is they're using it as a test bed. It's no different than the self-checkout, and what kills me is people working there directing you to their replacement. I think it's hilarious that these people maybe don't realize what they're doing, that they're doing the R&D that is going to ultimately replace their own jobs. Just can't fix stupid. Love the podcast. Hopefully motherfuckers start commenting more. I hear what you're saying. Think about this, though. It's inevitable. You're not going to prevent it by not doing it. And if you refuse to do it, you're just going to terminate your job right there. So if you're working in a place where that's happening, obviously you got to do what you got to do.
Fight the machine.
You got to do what you got to do, but you better have a fucking plan.
Start cutting those wires.
If you're singing in the shower, you better get really good.
Sarah Connor would she would man up. I actually was at my Walmart, and there's one aisle that is always open. It's always got a person in it, and I went to it. There was another person in front of me, and the lady's like, self-checkout. You can go. There's nobody at self-checkout. You can go to self-checkout. I'm like, no, I'll wait.
Cool, have her go there.
Yeah, I go, no, I'll wait. So, because I don't use self-checkout for that very reason. I get it, but I'm not going to fucking use the kiosk on the table, and I'm not going to use self-checkout because the meat-eating robots are coming next. Anyways, so I said to her, I go, yeah, I'm not, when I got up there, I'm like, no, I'm not going to fucking pander to your replacement. And her exact words were, Oh, I don't care. I don't give a shit about this job.
Yeah.
So
every time, like we go to Walmart probably every 90 days. Jeff and I need to go get something for something. It's just a reason for us to get out of the building for a minute. We go to Walmart, and almost every time we always get a checker. We always go through because we have too much shit to self-checkout. Always, we have gone in there and bought 3 shopping carts of something of everything they have, every time. But every time she's like, "How are you guys? We're good. How are you? Oh, I'm here." I go, "You keep that attitude up, you won't be." I've literally been like, if I was your boss, I'd fire you right now. Not over that. I mean, just, it is amazing the shitty attitude people have. Bitch, you're lucky you have a fucking job. But the real part of it is that fucking her welfare has probably made her go get a job. Something ran out. She had no choice. Everyone needs to force them to open a man register when they have only self-checkouts open. In reality, they're using slave labor from us to sell us products. Laugh out loud. I know it sounds crazy, but it's kind of true. Well, use Amazon. That's why we don't go to Walmart. Chef does all the grocery shopping. Chef does all the grocery shopping. Even Amanda rarely goes to Walmart anymore. Amazon's just too simple to deal with, and then you don't have to deal with the shitty attitude at fucking Walmart. Plus, for me to leave here in the day, it's 15 minutes to Walmart, it's 30 minutes at Walmart, it's 15 minutes, that's a man hour. So when Jeff and I go do that, that's 2 man hours. I can type that shit in, I can literally spend 30 seconds putting in the Amazon shopping cart. I click quick checkout, and that shit shows up here a lot of times tomorrow. It's pretty wild. It fucking gets here in a day.
I do it for a different reason. I understand that once all these jobs are gone, that we're going to have some serious problems in this country. It's just like I always say.
That's why we're building gates and towers.
Like I say, you don't want a second civil war in the United States. No matter how prepared you think you are, you're not prepared for a second civil war. I'm listening to this podcast right now.
Have you heard of Dark History?
Podcast. I'm listening to this podcast right now about a second civil war in the United States, and the guy's doing a pretty good job, but his hypotheses are very weak. And the issue, there is issues that you can't even comprehend if the United States goes into a civil war type situation. I mean, no nuclear power has ever had a transition through a civil war. We are talking about a country that has the second largest stockpile of nuclear weapons.
Who has the first?
I mean, us and the Russians. I think we actually have the number one stockpile, but meaning, us and the Russians have the most nuclear weapons in the entire world. Meaning,
could Cletus and Billy Bob Joe fucking launch a nuclear weapon?
If they could get in the silo, yes. And that's not even the ones you need to worry about. The silo ones. At least the silo ones, there are dudes in there that maybe they're going to be like, we swore an oath to the country and Air Force. Maybe they're not. Maybe there's going to be a guy in that silo that's going to be like, hey, I'm doing this for the country. And now you have an armed militia that has a fucking nuclear weapon. There are plenty of, and here,
or he maybe just launches.
Maybe this will get me in, I don't think it'll get me in trouble. I hope not. There are plenty of nuclear weapons that are
movable, tactical.
Yeah, tactical nuclear weapons. But there are plenty of nuclear weapons in our arsenal that are no longer what you would call first-line nuclear weapons. Meaning, they're old stock. We haven't broken them down, so they're sitting somewhere. And really, they're not. No, there's a guy out there walking around going, "Are they still here?" But they're not as protected as you would think they would be protected. So, I mean,
they're just not known.
Yeah, and so any time I can try and do my little part to subvert that.
Hiding in plain sight.
Yeah, subvert any of that. That's why I think that there's a perfectly logical reason why companies in the United States should have minimum wage jobs. Even though it doesn't support the bottom line. Look, Jeff Bezos doesn't need another dollar. He can have all the dollars he wants, but employees is not the thing that's hurting Jeff Bezos.
No, but
his divorce.
Employees are the fucking problem.
Man. His divorce. Well, here's the thing.
We don't have any fucking minimum wage employees, and we pay above minimum wage and can't fucking get a full staff.
I get employees as a problem, but we don't have a problem like no minimum wage employees. Meaning, once all those jobs are gone, then we're really going to have a problem because those people are going to be sitting on their front porches.
I would like to think,
and they're going to be looking for something to burn the fuck down.
I would like to think that when they lose their job, they'll be like, "Hey, we can go to this place, and they'll even pay us more than we were making."
No, that's not going to happen.
Snakes in the Everglades. Your thoughts on how to eradicate them, or at least control them like snakehead fish? Kill them. I mean, what else can you do?
I don't know how you're gonna. Well. You can do
global cooling.
You can do what we always do. You can do what we always do and fuck things up.
Release something else.
Let's just release some sort of predator. Alligators. Some sort of predator that will eat the snakes. Will jaguars eat snakes? Do we just get
a certain point?
Do we get a cave of
somebody was saying the other day? We were having this conversation about the Burmese pythons the other day and the Everglades. Somebody was saying there is no more
mammals.
Yeah, there's no more rodent population. There are no rabbits for them to eat.
No skunks.
No skunks, possums, armadillos, nothing.
Right now, the only thing that is down there that is those snakes and
alligators.
And saltwater crocs. They just started finding those. Thank you very much.
I had an MMCPO that used to say, "Don't bring me no fucking problems with no solutions. People bitching about the problems are usually part of the issue." 7/10, I would say.
I would say bring me 3 solutions and we'll pick the best one.
We usually tell guys that when they've got like, what's the solution? We ask them all the time. We're not like, stop fucking pissing and moaning, but what? So okay, I hear what you're saying. What's your solution? Like, what can we do? What's the fix?
It's course of action. So we used to have to do. In our planning, anytime we were going to do anything, we'd have to have 3 courses of action. So I'm going to give you 3 courses of action, and then then you're going to decide which course of action we're going to take. And it was usually the one you really wanted to do, and then one that you could kind of do, and then one that was a total piece of shit. We hope they don't pick this one. They always pick the piece of shit one.
To kind of funnel them into the
kind of force them into, hey, that first one sounds good.
Give them the one solution and the 2 that are fucking absolutely impossible.
That first one sounds good.
That's the same. That's the same guys though. That's the same dudes complaining about. Well, I broke my leg playing football in high school. Motherfucker, you're 45 years old. That's the same shit. Yeah. Imagine we're in a battleship taking on water where there will be some purpose when there for the same purpose when it comes to Second Amendment shit. It's like there's 3 people patching holes, 4 doing jack shit, 3 drilling holes at the bottom of the ship or a compartment over. To all the fake satellite people, build your own CubeSat. 7 years ago at my uni, the whole project cost about $150,000 launched to 600 kilometers, orbit included. Start your crowdfunding, get a license for comm frequency from ITU, get some meaningful experiment beside HD camera on board, and you should be good to go. Back then, there was a rule that it has to come down within 25 years, still is, I believe. Our experiment had a long-ass tether that caused enough drag for that, but for a camera mission, you'd have to settle for a lower orbit. There are science sats up there on polar orbit that cruise at 200 kilometers or so. Those have a lifespan about 1.5 years or so before they burn up. I think it's also why the Air Force had the X-37 Baby Shuttle. I think it was to boost the orbit height of spy sats and refuel them. You can't change your orbit angle relative to the equator without burning some fuel.
The original satellites that the Air Force were using, I just read this article about this. The original satellites, they would shit out rolled film. So they would fly over the Soviet Union, boop, 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 take a bunch of fucking black and white pictures, and then when they flew over the United States, these fucking rolls of film would get parachuted out. That's how crazy that shit is. They get parachuted out, they shoot those fucking rolls of film back down to the United States. Be careful about telling people that here's the thing, if you believe the Earth is flat and all that, be careful about telling those people to do a project like this, because they just had that guy in Arizona who was going to prove that the Earth was flat, and he built his own rocket ship, and it went up about 200 feet and then exploded and almost killed him. Just be careful about telling crazy people to do crazy things, because then they end up blowing themselves up on a fucking rocket.
Well, every genius.
And I'm sure they're going to say the CIA did it.
Every genius is just it's perception. One genius is another person's madman. Fuck that. I just want one picture of the so-called blue marble from space with all the thousands and thousands of satellites orbiting it. Shouldn't be too hard to find, but guess what? You can't.
You most certainly can. All you have to do is go to like I said before, the Air Force has a whole con center that the only thing they do is track those satellites, and you most certainly can get that photo from them. It's probably on their goddamn patch that they wear every day.
How many close-ups you have commercial jets that you fly? I don't know what that is. It's a picture or something. If the shit hit the fan hard and the National Guard got activated, do you think the members would show up, or would they stay home and protect their families?
Interesting. I just saw a thing about, I also listened to this thing about if the big earthquake hits California. So the big earthquake, like the big one.
Separated, no.
Yeah, San Andreas Fault runs all through California, and if the big one hits. And they did a not classified, but what do you call it when they don't know who it is? It's
anonymous.
They did these anonymous surveys through all the police departments, fire departments, paramedics. They did these surveys in California in, I want to say 93 is when the study came out about what happens if we get hit by and the question was, if this happens, if the big one hits, if we have this major disaster, will you go to work? 60%.
I'm surprised it's not higher.
60% of fire department and medical personnel said they would not go to work, that they would be with their families. Law enforcement, so especially the fucking, which is, you think about this, corrections officers and law enforcement, 95% of them said they would stay with their families instead of going into work.
And the 40% of the medical guys that said they would be there, there's not going to be anybody to protect them. They're going to be taking shots. People are going to be stealing equipment.
If it's a localized, here's the thing: if you have a localized problem like a fucking hurricane in Katrina or earthquake in California, will the fucking Texas National Guard mobilize and go to California to help clean up? Of course they will.
Until you have a pandemic at home.
Yeah, of course they will. Will National Guard units or federal agencies go to Louisiana to help them down? Of course they will. But if it's nationwide, if we have something that is nationwide that affects every state in some little way, you're going to have a hard time finding first responders.
Everything happens in threes, man.
Time finding first responders.
When you have California go off, right? Then what's that going to do? Trigger Yosemite to fucking erupt? Is the New Madrid going to fucking go off? That's really the bigger problem, even bigger than the fucking San Andreas fault. Or you have a pandemic hits at the same time, or fucking, it always happens. Something else happens. That's where the problem lies. Hey John, I saw your video called Go Do Real. I was actually it's Go Do Real Shit. I didn't put that up there because I figured it would fuck up the getting it listed. It was the best morning video yet. For all you freeloader listeners on here, not commenting, here's my method for commenting frequently to keep the content coming. Let me break it down Barney style for you. When you think of something while you're at work or whatever, just start a note on your phone's notepad memo app with a couple words so you don't forget the topic. Then later, while you're taking a shit or a lunch break on your free time, finish the comment entirely and read it over. If it needs context or beginning in the beginning, then include that. Then just copy and paste the new comment onto when the video comes up. Just takes some time away from the meme scrolling hobby and write the comments. 100%. And that's how, even if it's not comments on our videos, that's how you should do everything in your life. You guys all have great ideas. You just don't fucking act. You never put them in motion. It's failure to execute is your problem. That's why you're not doing what you want to do. That's why you're doing something every day, especially something every day that you don't want to do. It's because you failed to execute. Had you just put a few things in motion, you wouldn't have to do the shit you don't want to do all the time. Shit, Publix Deli Chicken is off the chain.
Publix Deli... Publix, yeah.
I don't know about that, but I like the rotisserie Walmart chickens. So here's a funny thing.
Chicken's for poor people, man.
It is. Rotisserie chickens at Walmart, they'll have like 4 or 5 sitting there, right? You can't go in and buy them all. Walmart has to have 2 or 3 on the shelf for EBT card holders. I've heard that several times. Fucking Rappaport came into town for alumni or something, went to buy a bunch of these things. All these dudes on keto last year. They wouldn't fucking sell them. They have them, but in typical fashion, no, you can't buy my pumpkins.
Yeah.
Those are my carving pumpkins.
Speaking of, chicken, the real meat cow, St. Louis Burger Kings are going to start offering a non-meat burger. So it's going to be meat, but a non-meat burger. And, allegedly, there's a food critic that said that the cow people need to pay attention because this thing tastes just like hamburger. So if you live in St. Louis, head on to Burger King, see how that thing tastes. I think it's going to taste like shit. It was the same thing when, because we're conditioned, right? When we eat something, we're conditioned. Carl's Jr. did a thing which is Hardee's here. Carl's Jr. did a thing.
Though. It's not even fucking close.
But they did a thing where they were like, we're gonna start serving these hamburgers that are no hormone, all grass fed, blah blah. These hamburgers
Sounds
that are just
great, except it's not.
And then, so I'm like, oh, that's great. Let's buy it. Didn't taste anything like the hamburger I wanted. Because I'm sorry. I'm used to the fucking pink dye and all that bullshit. So,
best wishes to you, John Skully, and everyone else at the SOE. I'm laughing at the dude who talks shit online, shows up to them prepper conventions, 400 plus pounds, wanting to start a revolution. My grammar and punctuation sucks so well. He got off a bus. Like, he literally took the bus to the fucking thing. It was fucking crazy.
Yeah, I love the guys at the shows.
They just had a prepper convention, like a prepper thing at the Nashville Fairgrounds.
Really?
I actually set up with James a few years ago. Like, I just didn't even hear about it.
I would have went just to see
You know what's coming, man?
What?
Military Collectors Show in Franklin.
It's at a
hotel. It's pretty good size.
I'll go to that.
Yeah, there's all kinds of like World War I, World War II shit.
I'll go to that. I'll find something.
Hey guys, love the podcast. Listen to it at work. My fiance dumped me for her coworker. And because of the podcast and the gym talk, I decided to use my new tool bag and gym bag and signed up for the gym that's a quarter mile away from work. I now have no excuse not to go after work and get healthier. Sometimes you need a catalyst to start something new. So you're probably going to go up and down. Fuck that bitch. Hate that bitch. Wish I could fuck that bitch. God, I miss that bitch. Do not contact her. Get your life in shape.
Get your life in order.
Do not post any different shit trying to impress her. Fucking find somebody. Do something. Fuck a bunch of bitches. Get yourself together and make yourself more appealing to other people. You do not need that chick. You will find somebody better. And then when you have her and you're happy, that bitch is going to try to fucking wiggle back into your life. When she's close enough, step on her fucking head. Do not go back to that bitch. Fucking motivate yourself. Make yourself better. Find yourself something better. Make yourself... Just improve yourself, man. You will be... This is for the better, I'm telling you.
Yep. She's going to try and wiggle back in, bro. You just let her go. You should just completely forget about her. All those
and she's going to come back to you and complain and cry about how that dude fucked around on her.
All the pictures you have of her in your phone, just go ahead and delete those motherfuckers. Or better yet, instead of deleting them, send them to your BFF. Whoever your best friend is, just send all those pictures to him and be like, hey, I want you to vault these in case some shit happens. And then once he's looking at all those pictures, you're going to be like, Fuck that skeezer.
Don't go looking at her social media.
Don't fucking call her on the phone.
Just fucking block her on your social media. Not so that she can't see your shit as much as so that you can't accidentally see her. That bitch no longer exists.
Yep.
Move forward, man.
Here's the thing. We all go through this. You are going to find someone better. You're going to if you cut that off. If you cut that off and you don't dwell on the fact that, I don't know how long you guys have been together, but if you cut that off and you stop dwelling on her and you move forward, you hit the gym and you start doing that, they are going to start falling into your lap. They're just going to start falling into your lap. You're going to be like, where were all these girls 6 months ago? They're just going to start falling in your lap. So just focus on you. John is 100% right. If you focus on you and you move forward, if you're moving forward in your life, girls are going to start falling out of the sky, and that bitch is going to be friend requesting you again. Move forward, man. You're going to be fine.
Yeah, use your pussy magnet. Finally, video posted at a reasonable time. English chocolate isn't chocolate. Will send some when I get to Switzerland.
Oh, yeah, there's some Switzerland.
I'll eat that chocolate. Daniel Marshall says, quite right. Canterbury's chocolate can't be sold in Europe as chocolate because it doesn't contain enough cocoa. Robert Levendy. Daniel Marshall, yep, I think it started with the Belgians who didn't accept it as chocolate. Daniel Marshall says, those Belgians, they're on to us. Cheapskate Brits trying it on. Passing off substandard goods. Like the Range Rover. Range Rover? I love Range Rover. Don't keep one more than 24 months.
No.
Not you keep it 24 months. 24 months of manufacture.
All right,
is
guys.
that it? That's it.
All right.
I still got a ton of shit to do, man. I've been to the gym twice. Fucking